Hello, and thanks for watching our Fresh Start Ministries teaching series. Today, our topic with co-founder Pastor Joe Cordovano is entitlement, how an addict can learn to overcome this attitude disease. Stay tuned to the end to learn how you can be more involved with Fresh Start Ministries as well. Enjoy this teaching with Pastor Joe.
We're not here to talk politics, and I don't want to get into politics. I guess what I'm trying to get at is this. Is that entitlement is an attitude disease. Let's look at two basic attitudes. Like I said, it's an attitude problem. So let's look at the two basic attitudes. The first basic attitude is, I am exempt from responsibility. In other words, it doesn't apply to me. The rules don't apply to me. Or I'm not responsible for my failures, problems, or challenges in life. I've been dealt a crappy hand, and I deserve to be compensated somehow from whomever for me not trying harder in my life to do the right thing. I'm going to be real honest with you, and I read this. What's today? Wednesday. I read this week, and I couldn't believe it. I get periodicals and news about what the rehab industry is evolving into and things like that. There is a and this blows my mind. I mean, I somewhat understand it, but it blows my mind that there is a thought nowadays that we should not hold our clients responsible if they go out and drink or drug while they're in rehab. And we should, instead of asking them to leave or go find another rehab, we should welcome them back with open arms, because this is what they do. They're drug addicts and they're alcoholics, and this is what we're supposed to do. I know in one sense of the argument that I get it, and that kind of makes sense. But on the other end of the argument, it doesn't make any sense, because then that means I would be inviting in somebody who had just used and has the potential of using again in the very near future, an opportunity to take other people down with them. And we've already seen that. We've seen, and I think Pastor Tim addressed this possibly Monday or yesterday, I'm not sure when it was. We've seen one guy leaves and he goes to a certain type of house, and I'm not going to mention it right now, but a certain type of house, and of course it's not a program, it's just basically a glorified flop house. And then that one person calls up others of you that they were in the program with to tell them what a great life they're having now, even though it's only been a week, what a great life they're having, and you should come over here and do this also. And we've lost 3 or 4 people to that, and this is not new to us. This happens a lot. Well, not a lot. This happens periodically. That's the word I was looking for. And we understand that. But the thing is that, again, we feel entitled, so we feel like we're supposed to have an easier way to do recovery. And if this really is an attitude problem, and you really do, as we're talking about the first type, I'm exempt from any responsibilities, it doesn't apply to me, I'm not responsible for my failures or problems or challenges in my life, then that goes right along with it. Then recovery should be some kind of easy peasy task. And hey, I get it. Who wouldn't like to take a pill or a shot or somehow Me promise you, if you go through Fresh Start, you'll never want to use again as long as you live. And I trust me, nobody would like to be able to do that more than I would. But that's not reality. Because number one reality is, I don't know how many guys we have in the program right now, 55 I think it is, or something like that. That means there's 55 different personalities and different circumstances around your alcoholism and your drug addiction. There's not a set thing. Now don't get me wrong. I can go through some characteristics of alcoholics and drug addicts, and there are 5 or 6 things that we all have, but we all don't have them exactly the same way. And we all don't have them with the same types of people, and we all don't have them the same way. But we think we should somehow, if I make a mistake, then I should be, instead of feeling the consequences of that mistake, I should be rewarded for making that mistake, because poor little old me. And I'm going to be honest with you, it goes right back to, and I have an 8-year-old and 11-year-old grandkids, 2 boys, and they're in sports, and I don't understand sports anymore. It used to be when I played sports, even as a kid, as a young boy their age, somebody won and somebody lost. I'm pretty sure that's the nature of sports. You play 2 teams, somebody wins, somebody loses. The theory here is that the team that loses tries to do better so they win next time. But what do we have nowadays? And I'll tell you what we have nowadays. Now, I'm going to tell you also this. This is all in the parents' and grandparents' minds. That there should be no winners or losers. I remember when I was in we'll call it Little League football, the winner of the division got a trophy this big. Second place got one about this big. Third place was lucky they even got a trophy. But they got one. You see what I'm saying? First place, second place, third place. But now, everybody gets the same size trophy. As a matter of fact, everybody gets the exact same trophy. We're going to call it a participation trophy, because you participated. That's for the, and I'm telling you this out of the, I'm being as honest, that's for the parents. Now, not necessarily my son, the father of my grandkids, because I raised him different. He's all about winning and losing. And hopefully he's teaching them how to do that gracefully. But the parents, it's for the parents. It's not for the kid. Because I got news for you. Even though the 11-year-old, and he's 11, and they're not supposed to be keeping score or anything like that. And when we get done, I'll always say, Jensen, you know what the score was? Yeah, Pops, it was blah, 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 blah. We won by 5 goals. We lost by 3 goals. Jensen, do you happen to know how many goals you made? Oh, sure, Pops, I made blah, 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 and he'll tell me exactly how many goals. He'll tell me exactly how many assists. He'll tell me how many misses he had. So and every one of those kids will tell you the same thing. So the only one this whole entitlement thing is to where everybody gets a participation thing is for the parents, so that they can feel better about themselves, not the kids. No, I got news for you. Those kids on Jensen's team, if they come in first, they want the big butt trophy. They want the trophy it's going to take their father to carry it into the house for them. That's what Jensen wants. He doesn't want a participation trophy. He wants the big butt trophy because he won. He worked hard for it. Same thing with my grandson Anders. He's doing some intramural sports right now, and he is tenacious. And at 8 years old, he can tell you in basketball whether they won or they lost, how many they won or lost by, how many baskets, and how aggravating he was to the opposing team, because that's his forte in life. Because my grandson Anders is kind of short for basketball, but this kid is like a tick on a dog. And I've watched this kid, and he'll stand there and he'll do up and down like in front of, while the guy's trying to dribble or shoot. And I've watched kids get disgusted and throw the ball down and walk away because Anders is driven them nuts. And all I can say is, that's my grandson. Seriously, you get the picture? There are going to be challenges in life. And because we have challenges in life, it doesn't mean that those challenges in life, that those problems are not mine, they're someone else's problem. See, you didn't become a drug addict because of somebody else doing it to you. You did it to yourself. You picked up the drug. Now, unless there's somebody in here that was forcefully given drugs, and that may be, because I've ran into a few people like that. But for the most part, everybody I've ever worked with throughout my 40 years plus doing this, I've only ran into a handful of people that were tied down and forced drugs on them. Everybody else did them willingly. I know I did them willingly. I know I drank willingly. So it's not somebody else's problem. It's my problem. And yet I have the mindset when I'm entitled that I'm not responsible. And when I have that mindset, that means how I affect you by my words or my actions doesn't really mean anything, because I can say or do what I want, and it's not my problem if your feelings get hurt. It's your problem. You've all been part of our sociogram. That's the opposite of being entitled personified. It's, hey, we're going to speak into your life because we see character flaws in you, and then we're going to tell you we love you, and we're doing this because we do love you. And I hope that at the end of the 2-night session that you saw that even the staff loved you. Even though we spoke into your life and tried to get you to see some things. I'm not exempt from responsibility just because I feel entitled. And what I mean is when we feel that way, when we feel like we're exempt from responsibility, what we're really saying is that I'm not dependable, I'm not reliable, and I'm not a trustworthy person, because I'm not going to take responsibility for anything I've just said or done to hurt your feelings. So that means I can't be depended on as a friend. That means I can't be relied upon as a coworker or something, because I'm not going to pull my weight. And that means I'm not going to be trustworthy enough if, in fact, you tell me something in confidence. You're not going to be able to trust me enough for me to keep my mouth shut to other people. I'll probably gossip all over the place about you. The other attitude that we have, so we have, I am exempt from responsibility. The next basic attitude is, I'm owed special treatment. So for instance, I'll be your friend, and you are so lucky to have me to be a friend. Because I'm going to be honest with you, nobody else really wants to talk to you. But I'll talk to you. And you say, well, Pastor Joe, how do you know this stuff? because I started whole gangs with this on this premise. How lucky the members were in my gang to be in my gang, because nobody else, no other gang would have them. But I took them on. These ragtag maniacs that nobody else wanted, I would. And you know how lucky you are that I'm putting my time and effort into you? I'm teaching you everything I know about fighting. I'm teaching you everything I know about attitude. I'm teaching you all the things I know in my leadership capabilities. And you are lucky that I'm your friend. Or how about, hey, but I showed up to work on time twice this week, and I didn't get not one attaboy for that. Okay, I don't know how to break this to some of you guys. Okay, when you go to work and the boss says you're supposed to be there, let's say 8 o'clock, there's this funny thing about bosses and stuff. They expect you there at 8 o'clock. Not 8:05, not 8:10, not 20 minutes to 9, 8 o'clock. Actually, they'd probably like you there, as you know from here, about 5 or 10 minutes early. So you get all your stuff out of the way, you have your cup of coffee, and you're ready to go to work. See? So when you come in once or twice a week on time and they don't give you praises for that, and then you get your little feelings hurt, that's called you being entitled. You feeling like you're entitled to something, that you're special, and you're not special. Or how about this one, and I know this one firsthand also. I'm on the third string football team. I'm better than the guy playing second string, but I'm on the third string, and since they put me on the third string, I should have special treatment. I'm on the third string, so since we're not supposed to smoke, and I got caught smoking, and now you're making me do like 2 weeks worth of all kinds of stupid stuff just to be on this team, I shouldn't have to do that. Because what do you expect? I'm on the third string. I'm being unjustly persecuted. Now, I know this firsthand because this really happened. And the guy that was playing second string, I know for a fact I was better than. I was faster than him. I was tougher than him. I was a better tackle than him, both defensively and offensively. What I didn't do was I didn't suck up to the coaches and go bring them coffee from the cafeteria every morning. He did. He played second string. I got put on third string. I felt entitled. So I'm telling you about this entitlement from firsthand experience. So I should have some kind of special treatment because I am owed that. The government sent my father to jail, to prison unjustly. You owe me a living. You took away my meal ticket. You owe me a living. You say, that is crazy. How could you? Nobody thinks like that. Yeah, you want to bet? Because I did. And I think if you're going to be honest with yourself, there's been times when you felt the same way, if not even right now at this very moment. You're thinking, I put in a hard day's work. I shouldn't have to sit here listening to Pastor Joe. They should let me be upstairs sleeping. I shouldn't have to do program at night because that's too hard. Work all day and program at night. We should just not have to do program. Work, let me pay my rent, because that's what it would be to you. Let me pay my rent, and then I can pat myself on the back in a year and tell myself I went through a program. And you've learned absolutely nothing. You might as well put me on a stake on that cross out there and crucify me before that happens here. You're not entitled to anything. What you are entitled to is the fact that we're allowing you to go to work, because most programs don't. We're allowing you to make money, to send money home. We're allowing you to be able to make enough money to buy some stuff, get out of debt, buy cars, get your licenses back, pay fines, send money home to your families, do all those things. And in return, the trade-off is you're going to have to go through an hour or so of class at nighttime, which in my estimation is no big deal compared to you being allowed to go out and go to work and basically keep your own money. And there's many of you that have left here with $5,000 to $10,000 checks that we cut you because that's how much money you've saved. And that's on top of paying all the other things that you incurred throughout your time as a drug addict or an alcoholic. But you understand what I'm saying? But yet there's some of you in here that feel like you're entitled to. You're entitled to this. I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to that. I'm entitled to certain types of foods. I'm entitled. No, what you're entitled to is to be fed. That's what I give you. You are entitled for me to feed you. You are entitled for Fresh Start to feed you at the best we can. Are you entitled to filet mignon? Heck no. Are there some programs that give filet mignon? Heck yeah. And they're paying what you pay in a year, they're paying in a month. You want to know something? You pay me that in a month, not only will I give you filet, I'll come and cook it for you myself. In the meantime, we're all eating pretty good. You see what I'm getting at? So you put these two attitudes together, and let me just say it one more time. I am exempt from responsibility. I'm owed special treatment. You put those two attitudes together, and when you put them together, it's like putting kerosene with a match. Boosh! When you do that, when you do that, for those of you watching on film, I don't know what he's going to put up there behind me sometimes. So it's all, when you guys laugh, I got to look because only God knows what's going on up there. But that's what it's like. It's like kerosene in a match, and things blow up, and families get hurt, and marriages and businesses and friendships all suffer when you think you're exempt from responsibility. When you feel you're owed some kind of special attention. So, what does the Bible say? Because that's what we always need to go back to. What does the Bible say about these attitudes? Well, in Romans 12:3, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. Jeremy's got it up behind me. But in Romans 12:3, it basically says, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought. And in reality, throughout the whole Bible, and this is just one verse I picked out, but throughout the whole Bible, God gave us a way to look at ourselves. He has shown us throughout the Word that we are supposed to be responsible for our own lives. That we're not owed anything special. And yes, we are loved by God. And yes, we are unique, unrepeatable miracles of God. But that doesn't mean we're supposed to get any special treatment. You know why? Because from the least of us to the best of us, we're all unrepeatable miracles of God. Not one better than the other. My mentor used to say there's not 5 cents worth of difference between the best of us and the worst of us. And the other thing that he said that always made sense to me is we're all cut from the same cookie dough. I don't care whether you have $1 million in a bank account or you have $5 in a bank account. We're all cut from the same cookie dough. We were all created by God Almighty. Now, some of us have been fortunate and have done well with some of those gifts that He has given us. Some of us have squandered them. The good news is you're never too old to learn. I wasn't. Because at 33 years old, I realized if I didn't change my ways, Christian and no Christian, I was going to be struggling the rest of my life. So what is God's solution? Here's God's solution, and I want you to hear this because I don't sugarcoat anything. You already know that. Anybody that's watched any of our teachings on YouTube knows that I do not sugarcoat anything. Here's the solution that the Bible gives us. God's solution is to do it the hard way. Oh, I don't know if I like that, Pastor Joe. Why does God want me to do it the hard way? Okay, chill out, man. Hear what I'm saying. What exactly is it does God call the hard way? God calls the hard way. Hold on a minute. Let me put these glasses on. I can't see. I'm not entitled to 20/20 vision. Where was I? Oh, the hard way. The hard way that God's talking about is being in the habit of doing what is best rather than what's comfortable to achieve a worthwhile outcome. Did you hear? Just hear? Doing what's best, not what's comfortable. See, that's when you know you're entitled, when you're doing things that are more comfortable than they are best for your life. When you know good and well, and I'll bring this back to what we've been dealing with, when you know good and well that God brought you here for 1 year, He brought you to Fresh Start for a reason. He brought you here. He didn't bring you to Teen Challenge or whatever other program. He brought you to Fresh Start. He knew the program was a year. He knew that. You knew that. And then you feel entitled. So you go someplace else. And see, the really neat thing is that even though some of you are on community control and even some of you on probation and stuff, you have talked your codependent parole officers into allowing you to do that. Oh, Officer so-and-so, they're so hard on us. We don't hardly have any time to rest. We don't get any time to relax. We can't even smoke cigarettes inside the building. They won't let us vape. Oh, geez, I don't know if I can take it anymore. All I want to do is go see my kids. And they don't even let me go see my kids. Yeah, we do on Saturdays, man. It's not my fault you choose to work. Stop BSing the POs and just do this thing like you're supposed to, because God brought you here. And I'm not just preaching to you guys. I'm preaching to anybody that hears this thing in the future. God brought you here. He brought you here for a reason. He brought you here because we don't mix words. I'm not going to sugarcoat your recovery. I'm not going to sugarcoat life for you. But I will tell you that if you do it God's way, which is the hard way, life is good. That I'll tell you. May not be easy, but it's good. Because you didn't take shortcuts. You didn't get hand-me-downs or hand-me-outs or whatever you call them. Somebody once said life is like an oven. Well, if life is like an oven, then the really successful people don't take the microwave route. Obviously you didn't get it, so I'll say it one more time. I'll say it slow so you get it this time. Someone once said, life is like an oven. You all have the concept of an oven? Okay. Slow cooking. Okay. I'm saying if life is like an oven, then the successful people have not gone the microwave route. Hey, don't ha-ha nothing. Just get it in your little pea brain. Because it's reality. It's reality. And God's solution is doing it the hard way. And if hey, here's a, does anybody in here not think life is hard? Because if you think life is not hard, if everything's just been honky-dory for you, would you please stand up? Now, nobody can see you on camera, but I'll see you. Because really what I'd like to do is I'd like to see what denial looks like. Because I got news for you. I got a pretty good life, and life is hard sometimes. Life is hard. I don't care how much money you have or don't have, life is hard. I know people who have more money than God probably has himself. And you know what? They've still lost their children to drug addiction. It didn't, all the money in the world, all the private schools in the world didn't stop their kids from doing drugs and overdosing. It didn't stop their children from getting in trouble and going to jail or prison. And they got all kinds of money. What it did do is make those kids feel like they were entitled to something. And they could do this or that. And they were beyond dying. And they were beyond having any problems in life. And that daddy, and I know this from firsthand, and daddy could get them out of anything. And daddy would get them some of the best lawyers that money could buy and keep them out of trouble. And I know, and when I say I know that firsthand, I know it firsthand. And you know what? In the whole scheme of things and growing up, when my dad wasn't there anymore to coddle me, I was left alone in this world to fend for myself. And you know what I found out? I found out at the age of 21 through 31, I found out that I didn't even have what it takes to be a teenager, let alone a grown-up with a wife and kids. Because I thought everybody owed me something. So my dad, in reality, even though he was doing the best he could with what he had to work with, he wasn't helping me, he was hindering me. Because the minute he was out of my life to protect me, I was on my own. And I had never been on my own before. And I felt entitled. The world owed me a living. The world owed me something. They took away my father unjustly. Now I know you hear that a lot, but my dad really did not do the crime that he was put in prison for. He did other crimes that he could have been put in prison for, but he didn't do that one. Honestly. And we got all indignant about it. How dare they put him in prison? He never did that crime. No, but he did any number. He could pick 10 things, any 10 crimes. He did them. He just didn't get caught at those. And they made up one to catch him. And I had to grow up. And I found out that God's way is doing life the hard way. That nobody owes me nothing. So you say, Pastor Joe, so what's the cure for entitlement? And I'm going to be honest with you, here's the cure. Pretty simple. Live life the hard way. There is no easy way. There's a hard way and a harder way. So, well, that doesn't sound very, very uplifting. That's the best uplifting thing I could ever tell you. If in a year's time I can get you to see that fact, you're going to actually grow up. How do I know that? Again, because I grew up. And I began taking responsibility for my own family and wasn't expecting my mother or father to take care of the bills for me, to buy me a car because I wrecked the one I had, or because I was using drugs and I couldn't pay the payments. No. I bought my own cars. Did I make mistakes? Yeah, I made plenty of mistakes, man. Plenty of mistakes. And then I learned from those mistakes. And honestly, I've never been in an upside-down car again in my life. And I refuse to be. Not that I have that much life left, but I refuse to be. Because I learned that. I learned that lesson 15, 20 years ago. That, oh yeah, we'll put you in a brand new car. But I owe $5,000 on this car. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Yes, they will. They'll tack it onto the loan. And not only will I pay the $5,000, I'll pay more than $5,000 because the new loan is higher than the old loan. Get the picture? And then you're stupid enough to go and trade in another vehicle. And they say, but you owe $7,000. How could I owe $7,000? The stinking thing is only worth $13,000. You're telling me I owe I bought this thing. I didn't buy this thing for $20,000. Oh, yes, you did. They put the $7,000, they put the $5,000 on your old loan. What? Well, how are you going to fix it? Oh, we'll put the $7,000 on your new loan. No, I'm out of here. Give me my keys back. I'll drive the thing until I drive it into the ground and pay it off. And I'll never, and I told myself this. I told my wife this. I made her a promise. We'll never get upside down in a car again as long as we live. I learned my lesson. It cost me a lot, but I learned my lesson. Was I entitled to something different? No. Would it have been nice if my dad would have taught me that lesson? Yep. Did he teach me that lesson? Nope. I had to learn it the hard way. But I got news for you. You know who's not getting upside down in cars right now? My 3 kids. You know why? Because Dad and Mom taught them the lesson. And I imagine my grandkids, whatever they're driving, probably won't be cars, be some kind of spaceship or something. But I guarantee you they won't be upside down in them either. So the cure for entitlement is to live life the hard way. Because the hard way and the harder way is kind of the way life works, doesn't it? And we need to stop taking shortcuts. Because taking shortcuts hurts every aspect of your life. So Pastor Joe, what are you saying? That entitlement is all negative? No. What I'm saying is we got to keep it balanced. He told me I needed to turn around on that one. We need to keep it balanced. Listen, guys, I'm not going to tell you everything about entitlement is negative. So let me just recap for you real quick. Okay? Now, I'm not going to say that we haven't looked at entitlement as in a negative connotation for most of the time. And when we talk about entitlement, it's usually in a negative aspect. And I know that I've kind of talked about it in a negative aspect now. But I don't want to leave you with that. I want to leave you with the fact that the word around here is everything in balance. Balance is the word. We got to keep it in balance. As long as we don't go one way or the other too much, then we're going to be okay. So what's the pros of feeling entitled? Well, One of the pros is, I'm going to be honest with you, and something I found out, is increased confidence. That people who feel entitled assert themselves more because they believe that they should have that raise. They believe they should have that position at work. So they assert themselves more. In other words, you feel you deserve a raise. You're not afraid to ask for a raise. Now, you got to deal with it if you don't get it, but you're not afraid to ask for it. See, that's entitlement. There's nothing wrong with that. That'll help you. How about motivation and ambition? Because entitlement brings you that. Entitlement drives us to achieve our goals because we believe that we're worthy of that success, like I said prior, and we believe we should get those rewards. We believe we should have the nice house. We believe we should have a fairly new car or a new car without going into enormous amounts of debt. We believe that we should have certain things, nice clothes or whatever. We believe that. That's entitlement. I'm entitled to those things. Does that mean I go out and blow my whole paycheck on? No. That means I'm going to do it in balance. And if I'm entitled to it, then I'll shop. I'll wait. I'll find the best. I mean, if you want to know how to work, you ought to have, my wife should be teaching this class. Because she will shop for a car for 6 months. And then one day she'll say, it's time. You know, like that commercial? Should we sell? No. Should we sell? No. Should we sell? They're sleeping? Now! I already sold. That's my wife. It's time. Do you know where we're going? Yes. It's on the GPS. All we have to do is head on out now. And sure enough, all her hard work pays off. She gets exactly what she wants. Exactly. She's happy. I'm happy because she's happy. Those of you that are married, and I'm going to give this free advice freely, free counseling to anyone. Happy wife, happy life. 40. +40 years of marriage. And if I can teach you one thing, let me teach you that. Happy wife, happy life. She's happy, I'm happy. We need new furniture. Great. Can we afford it? Yes. Go buy it. Do you want to come? Nope. Why not? Because if you're happy, I'm happy. Now, we have gotten a little older, and sometimes I'm not happy. Because my wife is very short, and she doesn't need high couches. I'm taller, and I need higher couches. Or else my head goes like this, clunk, on the back of the lower couch. We have learned that. So now we try to figure out, sometimes I'll go with her. But other than that, no. You're happy, I'm happy. I want to buy a rug, no problem. I want new floors, no problem. All I want to know is, can we afford it? Yes, we can. Have at it. Would you like to pick out the color? I will be there. I want this color, this color, this color. Which do you like out of those 3 colors? Oh, I like that color. No. Which do you like out of these 3 colors? Oh, happy wife, happy life. Out of these 3, I like that one. Good. We'll go with that one. Yay, I win. Where was I? Motivation, ambition. Ambition. Advocacy for personal rights. I'm going to be honest with you. You know why I think I'm in this type of ministry? Because I always thought I was entitled, and now that I have gotten that in balance, I want to make sure that you also get what's coming to you. Not just on the negative end, because there's been plenty of people that have given you what you got coming on the negative end. I'm talking on the positive end. That you don't feel so ashamed that you can't be successful in God's kingdom, because you can be. So what are some of the cons real quick? Simple. How about strained relationships? I'm not going to go into that. You already know that. A lack of gratitude. How about some, as you know, unrealistic expectations? How about hindered personal growth? Because you don't put in the effort to grow as much as God would have you to grow. You don't put a, you do, some of you are doing it right here at Fresh Start. You're not putting in the time and the effort into your recovery, even though God is giving you the time to do that. You're not taking advantage of that time. You're shortchanging the thing. I can't help that. All I know is every time I get up here, I give it 100%. Whatever that 100% is for that night, I give it 100%. You should do the same thing. I can tell you this. When I went for training, I wasted my first 5 months of my program there, of my training, because I thought I was entitled. And then when I found out I wasn't entitled, then I took the next 7 months and worked them so hard I couldn't even see straight. And made up for all the time I lost. And you know what I found out? When I left, I got blessed. Well, I never left, to tell you the truth. They kept me on as staff. But I got blessed. What can I tell you about my 40 somewhat, some odd years of Christianity? I've been blessed. Have I had tough times? Yeah, I've had tough times. Yeah, I've had the times of depression and all that. I've had all that stuff. I've had everything you have. But you know what? When I look back on 40 years, you know what? And this is reality, because you know I've said it. I'm in the last stages of my life here. I mean, I'm not going to die tomorrow, I don't think. But you know, I mean, let's get real. I'm not getting any younger. So I know that. And I got that. I don't know how long I got, but I know that at some point in time, I'm going home to be with the Lord. Okay? But I know this. I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I ain't crazy about that idea. Not that I don't love the Lord. I just don't think I'm done yet. But if He says I'm done, I guess I'm done. But whatever, I'm going to go home a happy man. I'm going to go home fulfilled. I'm going to go home knowing that every day I woke up and I did everything I could to help other human beings be everything they can be. That I know. I know this. I know today my grown kids are all three of them are all proud of me. My grandkids are proud of me. As a matter of fact, the littlest one is so proud that he calls me the wise one. Now, I have drilled that into his head, but other than that, he did that the other day. We came to a soccer match, and he said, "Oh, look, it's Pops, the wise one." I said, "And that's why you're getting extra stuff at Christmas time." And then the last, how about social isolation? Entitled behavior kind of pushes away people. Have you noticed that? Because others see us not just as entitled individuals, but also as self-centered or maybe demanding individuals. So the bottom line, I guess, is what I'm saying is this. Somehow we have to strike a balance, and that's what I hope I've taught you tonight. I've taught you the cons, and now I've given you some of the pros. We've got to strike a balance. We've got to have a balance in our walk with the Lord. Not everything that you've been through is bad. Actually, some things that you've been through, even some of the harder things, are probably good growing experiences for you if you will take them and use them as such. And if you do, then I can guarantee you, you won't have to go out and use ever again. because there's nothing that's going to come your way, no matter how treacherous it may feel, that you won't believe or have the faith that God can take you through it. And you won't need the drug, and you won't need the alcohol. Especially those of you who are sick right now in this place, because I know that's always a rough time, getting sick. And so you're sick, and you're feeling miserable, and you're feeling weak, and you can't go to work, and you have all kinds of times on you, and so you do stupid things. Don't do the stupid thing. Do the smart thing, will you? And tough it out. You know what? This too shall pass. Let's pray. Praise you, Lord Jesus. Father, we thank you and we praise you for all that you're doing, Father. Lord, I pray that this message would hit home with as many people as you'd have it hit home with, Father. That you would open people's eyes through this message. That, Father, people who have been feeling entitled can learn to